President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Sheikh Ahmad Gumi have been at the center of a major discussion across Nigeria this week, following widespread headlines claiming that Tinubu has finally ordered the arrest of Sheikh Gumi, allegedly over comments connected to the United States and a possible upcoming meeting between Tinubu and former US President Donald Trump. Now, this is a story that has caught everyone's attention, from newsrooms to social media and even the streets. But as always, before we jump to conclusions, it's important to look at what's really going on, what's true, what's not confirmed yet, and what all of this could mean for Nigeria as a country. So as we go through this gist, remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because I'll be bringing you more detailed updates as this story unfolds. So let's begin from the most talked about part. The claim that Sheikh Ahmad Gumi has been arrested by President Tinubu's government. Now, based on everything we've checked and reviewed from reliable sources, there has been no official confirmation of any arrest. The presidency, the police, and the Department of State Services have not issued any statement confirming that Sheikh Gumi has been detained or taken in for questioning. That already tells us one thing. This story may have started from social media or from the usual online rumor mills that like to twist trending issues for attention. But here's what really happened. Sheikh Ahmad Gumi, as many of you already know, is a well-known Islamic scholar and public figure from Kaduna State. He has been involved for years in discussions about national security, especially regarding the issue of banditry and peace in northern Nigeria. Gumi is not someone who keeps quiet when he has an opinion, especially on matters involving government decisions, foreign policy, or religion. Recently, Sheikh Gumi publicly called out President Tinubu, saying that he should summon the United States ambassador to Nigeria over a controversial statement made by Donald Trump. Trump, during one of his remarks, allegedly made a strong claim that if he returned to power, he would take decisive action against those responsible for harming Christians in Nigeria. That statement stirred reactions both locally and internationally. Gumi, in his usual outspoken manner, reacted sharply. He said that Trump's statement was disrespectful to Nigeria as a sovereign country, and that the president, Tinubu, must not take it lightly. According to him, if the US government did not officially withdraw or clarify that statement, then Nigeria should consider cutting diplomatic ties with the United States entirely. You can already see how bold that was. Now, that was when things started to escalate. Some reports online then claimed that Gumi's remarks had angered the presidency and that the government might have moved to arrest him for inciting diplomatic tension. That headline, Tinubu finally arrests Sheikh Gumi over USA, quickly began trending across different platforms. But when journalists and credible media houses tried to verify it, there was simply no evidence of any arrest or even an attempt to question him. So, as of right now, Sheikh Ahmad Gumi remains a free man. He continues to express his views publicly and has even posted on social media since the rumors began. What we're seeing here is an example of how fast misinformation spreads, especially when the names involved are powerful: Tinubu, Gumi, and Trump. But beyond the rumors, let's talk about why this whole situation matters and why people are so emotional about it. Sheikh Gumi's comments touch on a much bigger topic: Nigeria's sovereignty and how our government responds to external criticism. When a former US president says something that sounds like a threat or a warning, it raises big questions about how Nigeria positions itself on the global stage. Should we react strongly to defend our pride, or should we stay calm and handle things through quiet diplomacy? This is the kind of conversation that divides opinion. Many Nigerians believe that Gumi was right to say that Tinubu should summon the US ambassador. They argue that if a foreign leader speaks about Nigeria in a way that sounds disrespectful, our leaders must stand up for the country. On the other hand, others believe Gumi's tone was too harsh, that calling for Nigeria to cut diplomatic ties with the US was too extreme and could create unnecessary tension. Now, let's also talk about the second part of that headline. the claim that President Tinubu is set to meet Donald Trump very soon. Again, as of the time of this recording, there has been no official confirmation from the Nigerian presidency or Trump's office about such a meeting. What we've heard are just whispers and speculation, possibly coming from people close to diplomatic circles. But let's think about what such a meeting would mean if it actually happens. For one, it would be a major diplomatic moment. It would signal that Nigeria wants to keep strong relations with the United States, even though there might have been some tension over recent comments. It could also be a way for Tinubu to clear the air and ensure that the relationship between both countries remains positive. And let's be honest, for Tinubu, meeting with Donald Trump could have both political and strategic benefits. Internationally, it would project him as a president who is ready to engage directly with global figures, while domestically it would strengthen his image as a leader who can defend Nigeria's interests on the world stage. Now, let's come back to Gumi's role in all of this. Sheikh Ahmed Gumi has always been a controversial figure. Some people see him as a man of peace who is trying to find lasting solutions to insecurity, especially in northern Nigeria. Others see him as someone who talks too much and sometimes crosses the line. But one thing no one can deny is that he always speaks his mind, whether people like it or not. He has been known for visiting rural areas and even interacting with groups involved in violence, trying to convince them to embrace peace. This is why some Nigerians call him a mediator, while others accuse him of being too close to the same people causing chaos. So, whenever his name appears in any political or national story, it naturally grabs attention. And that's what has happened again. Because the moment his name was linked to both Tinubu and Trump, the internet caught fire. The story became bigger than it actually was. The arrest rumor spread quickly because people found it believable even though it wasn't confirmed. Now, let's look at the bigger picture, beyond the headlines. What does this situation really say about how information moves in Nigeria today? It shows that we're living in an era where anyone can post something online, and before journalists or officials can verify it, thousands of people already believe it. That's why it's so important for us as viewers and readers to always pause before reacting to every breaking headline. That said, this story still highlights something very real: the delicate relationship between Nigeria and the United States. For decades, America has been one of Nigeria's strongest partners in trade, education, and security. But from time to time, misunderstandings or statements like this one from Donald Trump can shake that relationship a bit. When a high-profile Nigerian like Sheikh Gumi reacts strongly, it reflects how many Nigerians feel proud, independent, and unwilling to be spoken down to. And in fairness, there's nothing wrong with that. Every sovereign nation deserves respect. But at the same time, there's also wisdom in diplomacy, knowing when to speak loudly and when to handle things quietly through discussion. Tinubu's government now has to find the balance to show strength without creating unnecessary conflict. So, as of today, the situation stands like this. Sheikh Gumi is not under arrest. The rumor likely came from misinterpreted or exaggerated online posts. Tinubu has not officially announced any meeting with Donald Trump, but there are talks about improving Nigeria-US relations following recent controversies. And Nigerians, as usual, are watching everything closely.